Welcome to the Portfolio Masterclass today, live on LinkedIn. I am in a new studio and I don't quite know how the setup works on a restream, hence why you can see the logo. Is that where it is? Right. So, what I'm going to do is divide this live stream into 4 sections. What I would love more than anything is for you guys to post your questions live, and what I will do is answer your questions about your portfolio towards the end. The first part is going to be about what I see in your portfolios, and then how you can interpret that and use that information to make sure that you stand out in your job search. So, is anyone live on here, or is it just me? I have no idea. Right. First off, what I would like to say is happy birthday to Abdul. He was the first person that I spoke to today. Bless him. I thought that he was really excited to speak to me. Turns out it was his birthday. So happy birthday, Abdul. And I can't wait to get back to you with feedback on your application now. So what I want to do is go into why I'm doing this. I don't know. Going through the list of people who are attending this either live or on the recording, there's some awesome company names. Yes, Paul. Yes, Sheza. Oh, amazing. Happy Friday to you too. Thank goodness. I was thinking that no one could hear me. Thank goodness. Lovely to have you here. Please post your questions on the chat with either an emoji, a fire emoji or something like that, or cue you. If I don't get back to you by the end, Alexandra, woohoo! If I don't get back to you within this live stream, I promise I will come back to you afterwards. So, happy birthday, Abdul. Yeah, what a lovely guy, hey? So, why am I doing these again? I don't know if any of you joined me. The last time I did a LinkedIn Live was 5 years ago. And I had a friend of mine, Pete Brown, who would G me up before every LinkedIn Live each week. I might actually have to take this watch off because it's pinging like you won't believe. And and I'm feeling a little bit lost without him. I'm not going to lie, but I have so much to talk about and so much to impart to you, my lovely, lovely designers in the architectural and design industry. I just need to make that clear, by the way, because there's so many people who send me messages who are in IT. I can't help you. I'm so sorry, lovely people. But yes. So why am I doing these? So I've been working in architecture and design for over 27 years. And I've had the absolute privilege of finding staff for some of the most iconic projects in the Middle East. So I have found staff for Wassel Tower, which I know that's been spoken about everywhere at the moment. Seal Tower, Museum of the Future, The Line, Qiddiya, Abu Dhabi Racetrack, Dubai Marina, the list goes on. I think I started my career, and one of the most major projects at the beginning of my career was Wimbledon and T5 at Heathrow. How many years has that been there for? I can't even remember what it looked like without, but anyway. So the reason why I wanted to get back on LinkedIn is because here we go. I can now see a lot of people tuning in. Thank you so much for your comments. Calvin, Mohammed, Isama, Kinwa, Akil, Abid, hello. So yeah, the reason why I wanted to do these LinkedIn lives again is because I review between 200 to 800 portfolios a week. And because I've had exposure on these enormous iconic projects, I sit down with these hiring directors, CEOs, etc., and I find out what they actually think. I know that it's really difficult for us or them to come back to you with individual feedback, but it's certainly been so valuable in my career. I also come from an architectural background myself too. My dad was an architect, so I get it. I get your personality types. I get what you're trying to say, but sometimes the message is lost in the documents that you send to me or anyone else. And I do understand why you don't get feedback. It's, could you go back to 800 people? No. I did actually do the maths on it. And actually, if you were to give 800 people 20 minutes and just let them know exactly what their portfolio needed to say, it would take nearly 7 weeks in the 5-day working week. No recruitment consultant would ever make any money. No company would ever make any money. So it's really imperative to me and really super close to my heart that I start to let you guys know exactly what I see, exactly the feedback that I've been getting for years and years and years, and relay that to you so that you can stand out, so that you don't get overlooked. Because goodness knows, in my career, I have found some insanely amazing designers. Tommaso Calastri, for example, I placed him at Killer Design. He is insanely good. And he came from a great background, but there's other people who come from companies which, the company names you've never, ever heard of before, but their portfolios, wow, wow, wow. So what I want to do today is split this into 4 parts. So I'm going to go into what I see. I'm then going to give you a bit of a pep talk, etc. And then the 4th part, I would love you to put your questions in and let me answer them. Let's have a conversation. Let's also get so many people involved in this. We really, really need you guys to uplift and inspire those around you too, because I know the industry is having a little bit of bad press and all sorts, but you know what? I love this industry with all my heart. Oh, got me. And this is why I want to do it. So put your questions in the comments, please, and let's get started. So while I was doing some research this week of what to say, how to start, how to kind of engage you in a way that you would understand, there's so many different angles. And in my head, I've probably got about 11 to a billion starts or intros to what I want to say. But I was kind of thinking, right, so we've got architects who are streaming in right now from incredibly world-renowned companies like Foster and Partners, OMA, Zaha's on there. There's so many amazing names on there. And also there's lots of companies that I've never heard of. And I think the message is pretty much the same for me. So what I started looking into is, okay, so this building, for example, a residential building, how many people do you think in a 10-year lifespan, how many people do you think enter in that door? It's 600 to 800 people. And I was like, wow. The spaces that I walk into, and I know that you guys understand this, it's for me, I look at architecture like, wow, there's such a visceral kind of reaction to the buildings that you guys design, the spaces you create, how you feel inside and out, also like landscapes. There's so many emotions that an individual can feel, from happiness, joy, calmness, safety. And so when I was looking at the residential buildings, I thought, what's the most visited place there is on this planet? And it's a place called Forbidden City in China. How many people do you think have visited that place in a 10-year period? Well, I'm going to tell you, obviously. It's 160 to 180 million people. Woo! Now, when I was looking at the list of people who are going to tune in today, I was just, well done to you. You guys create such emotion for so many hundreds, if not hundreds, thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions of people. Do you understand that? How many lives you touch with your designs? It's absolutely awe-inspiring. And this is exactly the reason why I wanted to do these LinkedIn Lives again. Because when I look at your portfolios, that's not what I see. I don't see the person who has sat there diligently thinking about how to create this space, thinking about your client's brief. How do people want to feel in this space? And that is such a key element to your portfolios. I can't even explain to you how important that is. There's not one person on this earth who doesn't feel your energy. There's not one person on this earth who couldn't be affected emotionally about your creation. So the reason why I'm saying this is that your portfolios are an extension of your work. I just want that to land for a second. So your portfolio is an extension of your work. How you feel in that briefing room when you're told, right, this is what the client is trying to create. This is a feel, this is the look. You guys have to think about branding, colors, space, how you utilize that space, how people move through the space, right? So why aren't your portfolios trying to convey that? Because the people that you are trying to attract think that way. So you need to start thinking about who you are creating the portfolio for. 3D renders are not going to do you justice. They are not going to give the hiring manager that emotive feel to want to take action. What makes them take action is when they understand your thought process, your design process or technical process, and how the story evolved. So I did a portfolio review with an amazing woman yesterday. And we were talking about this, about how she actually found interviews really, really, really difficult. She's quite insular and she kind of wanted to hide all the time while we were in the review, in our meeting. And it got me thinking. So we were discussing her portfolio and how she could actually utilize her portfolio to convey all of her messaging and also preempt what the hiring manager is going to question her on, which I thought And she agreed. It settled her nerves while thinking about how to articulate herself in an interview, because she would actually understand, right, okay, get it. So the information I provide and the storyline, they're going to start questioning me exactly about that project, how it feels, why we use the materials, why we use the colors, where I got my inspiration from. Do you get it? So then she started to come out of her shell and feel more confident about what she was talking about. Alex, I've just seen that you pose a question. Do you think one particular portfolio template populated? Hang on, let me see if I can actually put this up. I think I can. Woohoo! I can. Do you think one particular portfolio template populated with own projects and work may work for everyone? So I have a belief that every individual should have their own unique way of coming across. And I did read something the other day that, and I thought is very kind of pertinent to what we're talking about today. There's not two people with the same fingerprint. So therefore, there's no two people that have had the same companies, that they've worked on the same projects, the same experience. Even if you've literally followed each other, you're still going to have a different perception based on your own view, your own internal dialogue. And I don't personally like templates. I think you are all in a creative space and you are all unique. You all give your own take on a project. You are all part of a team. And I think you should really embody who you are and really kind of hit home to embracing who you are, and then start like scribbling. Even for today, by the way, I have written, I don't know how many notes. One of them I did actually scribble I was going to actually go down a route, but my whole point is you are your own unique feel, look, whatever. So your portfolio should take on all of those feelings and emotions that a project needs. Hang on, I just need to get rid of a few tabs. So when I was talking about the brief, the project, the feelings, what I want from you is to open up your portfolio and wow, I get that feeling, I get that passion, because it's translated into the documents that you put together. I can feel the passion because of the dedication that you've put into your template, the font, the white space, the colors, the imagery that you've used, the text, the storyline. And this is what hiring managers are actually looking for. So yes, Alex, I think templates are great to an extent, but the same template, I don't know if you any of you tune into Stephen Bartlett. He almost a few months ago actually put on LinkedIn, on his socials, what their theory is about being online and being seen. And then he stopped himself and said, actually, I can't do that, because then everyone looks the same. And it's exactly the same when it comes to you as an individual, you as in your CV, you in your portfolio. But all of you are in the design space. You are creative. And I'll go back to the coaching call that I had yesterday. She did say to me, "Oh, Hayley, I feel like I've lost my creativity. I feel like, I'm working so many hours that I'm not sure that I can find that creativity." So we started working on that. And this paper and a pen is your best friend. Lock yourself away. Get rid of all your phones, all your notifications, anything that's going to distract you. Go to your happy place, whether that's in the Italian mountains that I'm looking at right now, or it's on a beach, or it's anywhere where you feel safe and you can put pen to paper and start getting creative again, because that is where your kind of aha moments come from. And those are those little tidbits that we're really, really looking for. So I can see some other questions coming in. Thank you so much, Alexandra. I'm going to have a bit of water. Right, Mossam. I'm currently refining my portfolio and utilizing AI for specific area, e.g. layout or presentation. What are the biggest red flags you see an applicant uses AI? Okay. I want to ensure my personal design, logic, and problem solving remain the primary focus. Okay. So I think I touched upon this just a second ago. And for me personally, I think we're all guilty of this, that we can fall into the trap of AI like fixing our lives and making it easier and more streamlined. We're not like looking, we're not like catastrophizing things, or we are, but it kind of gives you the insights you need. In theory, it just settles your nervous system. But does it actually work for you? I think if you start to ask AI, do you actually think this is going to make me stand out? It starts to retreat and go, yeah, I think you're right. You're not going to stand out. And what I would love more than anything is for each individual person to embrace who they are. Like I said earlier, there's no two fingerprints that are the same. So in theory, there shouldn't be two portfolios that look the same. And the danger is once you start using AI or anything else, you're outsourcing your creativity, the very thing that hiring managers are looking for in an individual to something or someone else. So on our portfolio masterclasses on our website, and certainly if I'm dealing with, if I'm doing a one-to-one portfolio review, there's no two portfolio reviews that are the same. They're all unique. And that's what we're trying to look for. Once you start using AI or start outsourcing your design to something else, you are falling back into the trap of looking like everyone else. So I think I mentioned earlier on, I review between 200 and 800 portfolios a week. And you can certainly tell when somebody has been speaking to their friend, oh, can you send me your portfolio? I want to have a look. What we're trying to do in a job search process is make you, A, be more individual, and B, stand out. Standing out isn't copying somebody else's work or utilizing an AI to outsource that. It needs to come from you. I think there's so much misinformation out there about, okay, so your portfolio should only contain 5 projects, or it should only be maximum 5 megabytes. Well, can I just say, one, my clients, tier 1 clients, come back to me saying, Hayley, I need them to, level up. I need those high resolution imagery. I need to understand their capability. I need to understand their thought process, design process, their branding, their personal brand, presentation skills. Oh, I don't know how many times I've had a design director say, our presentation skills lost. So I understand where you're coming from, Mossam, but I think if you start getting pen to paper, and I would love it if you could report back next week, because I'm going to start doing these on a weekly basis, start scribbling out, do it the old fashioned way, and let's see what you come up with, because you are definitely going to stand out if you start putting pen to paper, that your creative juices are going to start flowing like you won't believe. And then you're going to come up with a portfolio template and storyline, because I think that's another thing. The story behind the project needs to be told. So I hope that answers your question. And I'm going to move on to the next one. So, question. So, Mohammed, when reviewing portfolios, what usually makes you stop and spend more time on a potential candidate? Right. Love this question. Thank you so much, Mohammed. So, what makes me stop is the font. I know that sounds ridiculous. White space, and it's back to I just said it a second ago, but personal branding, like individuals who understand working for a tier 1 company. In actual fact, you can go on to any tier 1 company website, go on Foster and Partners, go on OMA, go on Zaha. They all have a look. And I'm not saying that you should take their look, because that's not what we're going for here. But what makes me stop is when a CV and portfolio looks original, but the same. There's consistency, there's coherence in the storytelling. So the CV will tell you the story, and the portfolio will visually articulate it. And that is the starting point for me. After that, if those two all align and the story and the imagery is exactly in alignment, I am totally getting on that phone, 1 billion %. That's when the story starts for me. Thank you so much, Mohammed. That's a brilliant question. John. So, John, is it possible to transition from an F&B restaurant design management role into a more architectural focused design role, such as residential or hospitality? Have you seen applicants make this kind of transition recently or successfully? Sorry. So honestly, yes, I have. I've seen all sorts of transitions in my career. I've also seen all sorts of clients see something in a candidate and offer them like 45% increase on their salary. Like, your portfolio is such a window or opportunity that no one really understands how magnetic it is. So yes, I have, but there needs to be some sort of commonalities of something. You can't just go, I need something blue, and somebody comes along and goes, well, I'm orange. So there needs to be commonality. So if you look through the job description, if you look at the company, I think this is the most special thing about architecture and design industry. And it's also something that candidates find so difficult. I say that, but I've used this tactic with graduates. So I had a graduate during the pandemic. She was absolutely petrified. She had been told by her tutor that she, with no uncertain doubt, that she would get a job at an incredible company. Now, when I started working with her, she was so upset, so upset. You'll actually see her. She's given me a LinkedIn review, but she was beside herself because she thought that she was going to come out of university and just get a job just like that. It didn't happen. We obviously had the pandemic. That's another factor. However, she was seeing other people in her year that were getting jobs left, right, and center, but she was the number one in their group, in their year, and she didn't have an interview. So I was like, right, how can we do this? What projects do you want to work on? So we ran through all of that. And I was like, right, okay. Could you dream up your dream project and then put that into a portfolio? Do you think you could do that for me? She was like, I think I could. I think I can. So next week, I had a full project. The branding was there. The storytelling was there. Absolutely everything was there. And she got an interview within a month. And she started that job. She actually moved from South Africa to London, and she is flying in your career. So what I'm trying to say is that nothing is impossible for you guys. And I want you to understand how incredible the design industry is. You have so much opportunity. I cannot even explain to you, because you have creative minds. I know that some of you feel that you're stuck, but you honestly are not. Your field is so open wide because you're able to articulate and get your vision across. And that is so, so important. So, John, I really hope that I've answered that question there. So next one, Mohammed. Look and feel is one, but experience in mega projects is the most important factor to put that look and feel in real world. No, I don't. I disagree. Like I said right at the beginning, I have found people at the beginning of their careers and they've had no known company names on their CV, but their portfolio has completely blown me away. And then they got hired by a top 10. I'm just trying to think if they're top 10 or top 5 now, but in the Middle East, they are now on mega projects. Like I just said to John, you guys have such an amazing window of opportunity to create your own destiny, because you can put pen to paper and help people visualize exactly where you want to go, what you want to do, what you want to work on. And it's that passion that everyone kind of looks at and feels before you even step foot in that office for an interview. And that's what we're trying to achieve here. It's that your heart will take you and catapult your career into a new stratosphere if you actually embrace your creativity and really go all in. And that's what I'm talking about here. It's not like, oh, should I put this image in or should I not? Should I hide behind a load of 3D renders or should I tell the story? Should I captivate my audience? You know, I don't understand sometimes how amazing opportunity you have here, and the window is wide open for you. One of my friends actually did say back in February, she just said, this is the era of the creatives. And I totally agree with her. Like, all eyeballs are on reels, are on imagery. You know, you can really captivate your audience and get them sucked into what you are looking for. But you've got to let yourself go, let yourself be seen, and really embrace what you want for your career. Dawu, hi, how are you doing? So next question, Shiza, I hope I'm saying your name correctly. What is the portfolio expectation in the UAE market? Ideally, how long should architecture portfolio be in terms of total pages? Brilliant question. Number of projects and depth per project. My previous experience in Canada was that portfolios typically focus on 3 to 4 projects in detail rather than including many smaller projects. Is a similar approach preferred here? Look, I guess I'm one of these people who where's the rule book because I'm going to tear it up. I don't think there is a rule. Just like people talk about CVs should be a page or 2 pages or 3. What rubbish. Like, the directors and CEOs and decision makers at the top never, ever reject someone based on the length of a CV or portfolio, or, it's just rubbish. What we're looking for is relevancy. So when you're going through a job description, or you've looked at a company that you really, really want to work for, and you're like, yeah, I want to work for them. Start getting to understand who they are as a business, who works for them, what do they articulate, how do they visually come across. It's about relevancy. It's branding. It's your storytelling. I will keep going on about storytelling. But yeah, there's no one in a decision-making capability that's going to reject you or your details based on total pages, projects. It's relevancy. So if you're going to apply to a company who's looking for, I've had this, high rise, and say it's G plus 60, they're not going to accept people who have only worked on villas. So relevancy is more important than anything here. But great question. Thank you so much. Thomas, thank you so much. Very well said. I'm not sure what you're referring to, but brilliant. I'm glad it landed. Right, question. You've been commenting on my posts a lot recently. Thank you so much for your engagement. Question, in portfolio 5 projects is enough, then 12, I mean quantity over quality. So again, this follows into what I've just said. It's relevancy here. We really are looking for relevancy. If you are presenting, actually, let me spin this back. So a lot of architects, designers, landscape architects, actually everyone in the design industry, while I think about it, you've got this tendency to cram your portfolio with everything. Oh, I've done a bit of healthcare, I've done hotels, I've done residential, I have done everything. And some of my coaching sessions have fallen back into this as well, because they are trying to get a job wherever they can, and they are spreading themselves way too thin. They're here, there, and everywhere. They're getting rejected or ghosted, which takes a real knock on your confidence. I totally get that. And you really do need to protect yourself, your mind, when it comes to a job search. So what I said, and yesterday actually again, sit down with yourself, get your book out, get a pen, and start visualizing who you want to be in the future, what that feels like to you, who's around you, what kind of projects are you working on. And it could be 10 years from now, mega projects, if you're not working on them already, sure. But once you start kind of engaging and understanding how those brands and those people put themselves across, you start to embody who they are, and then it starts to feel really good to you, like, right, I've got direction here. I know what I want to work on. I know what I want to do. And then you can start to roll that back and go, right, okay, if I was me 10 years ahead, but I'm doing this now, how would future me start to behave, present themselves, articulate their value, present their work, behave? And then things start to change for you. You start to look at everything from a different perspective. So I know I've gone off on a tangent there. I hope that helps. Right. So Veronica, oh, we've got quite a few questions. Hang on. Wait. Farnaz, right. Did I say your name right? I'm so sorry if I didn't. So, how should I present work done under NDA in my portfolio when I've spent a year on confidential projects within a company? Right, look, on no uncertain terms should you ever put NDA projects in your portfolio if there is an NDA. My advice, and it depends on your relationship with the company that you're working for, etc., etc. I did get chastised for putting a video about this like last week on LinkedIn, and I was talking to some directors about this. Now, they have been in the industry for 20, 25 years. They know the ball game. They know where they stand, and NDAs are very tricky. Yes. If you've been working on NDAs recently, please do not put them in your portfolio. But what I would love is, in the architectural and design industry, there are so many people who don't update their portfolios on a regular basis. They then find themselves in a situation where they have no job, they are petrified as hell, which is not the best time to start updating anything. So I would love it if people could recognize that and see that ahead of time and update their portfolios and LinkedIn and CVs and everything else on a regular basis. You know, we don't stay at one company for our whole entire lives. It's very, very rare. You know, people should recognize that. And people should start getting more comfortable with being out there and start like talking to your superiors or your line managers, directors, whatever it may be, and having a more open conversation about what you're allowed to speak about and what you're not allowed to speak about. Yes, I do understand that there's a lot of companies who go, well, what the hell have you been doing? And I've done it as well, by the way. I've looked at portfolios and gone, I had someone even this week on Monday, Hayley, I've updated my portfolio. The last image is from 2020. 6 years. 6 years of NDAs. That's not, no. That's someone making an excuse. So all I'm trying to say is here is, I know I'm going slightly around the houses, but be open and honest. Like, you should be proud of the projects that you're working on, and 100 billion%, I'm sure you would love to have all of them in your portfolio, but, you know, sound it out with the people around you. And honestly, if it's not a conversation to have, please don't have it. Don't put yourself in the firing line. But also, you do need to try and put something into your portfolio. But I hope that answers it. I think you need to use your own discretion and own intuition as to how you tackle it personally. And if you would like to talk about this again, please comment again. So Veronica, right, next question. Veronica, what is the most important in a portfolio of strong landscape, senior landscape architect in UAE? Woo! I love landscape. I love lighting. Put this in myself. So it falls into the storyline again and again and again and again. Architecture, interior, landscape, whatever subject we're talking about, it is the storytelling capabilities. What's the story of the land? You got given a brief. And I'm sure you're doing your homework about what was there before, what's, have there been, I actually don't know where you are in the world, but I'm just going to use one of my clients as an example because we were recruiting people in Saudi. I can't say the project. I was just contemplating it then. I can't say what the project was, but they were looking at the mountainous region and who was there previous of a bygone era. So they brought the story into the project. So the textures were there. They were very sensitive about the trees, the foliage, the hardscape, softscape. It's how you are sensitive to the land. Tell that story. I don't know if that answers your question. I hope it does. But more often than not, with all portfolios, the tier one people, the people that get those ridiculous jobs that everyone looks at and goes, that seems rather impossible. How did he get that? How does she get that? It's because they are able to clearly communicate the storyline, their involvement, and within that, their passion comes through. So I hope that answers your question, Veronica. Right, Bruna. Is this a question? I don't know. I graduated 10 years ago, but I worked longer in the financial sector where I was already working before graduating. Now I want to make a definitive transition to architecture. How can I create a portfolio that will help me become more employable in the USA remote? Oh, geez. Okay, I might have to come back to you privately about this, Bruna, because I think I need to understand your background, financial sector. Like, are you going literally from a banker to an architect? I'm not sure what I'm dealing with here. So, and also I'm not per se in the USA market. I'm in an international market, absolutely. But I think I need a little bit more information there to be able to help you. So could you message me privately and I will come back to you on that one. Right, next one. Mohammed, I want to work with Norman Foster and Partners in London. How can you support me? Right, I get questions like this daily. I've seen you work for so-and-so. I've seen you've found people for Seal Tower, for Wassel, for the Line. Yes, I work with all of these companies. And it's not as simple as just going, oh, I will get you a job there. Can't wait. Give me your CV and portfolio. I'm going to send it. I did actually mention earlier on in this live about going onto a website. So if you look, and Mohammed, forgive me, I don't have your CV and portfolio. I don't think you and I have actually been in contact before. Otherwise, I would know. I'm very good at remembering people. But what I would say is, certainly for someone like Norman Foster and Partners, look at their website and their awareness of their market, what they do, and how they position themselves. They are on point when it comes to messaging, branding, text, color, imagery, storytelling. That's just to name 6 things off the top of my head. It's not just a case of going, I'm going to work there. I would love it to be. But what I would do, I don't know where you're working at the moment, and I don't know the projects that you're working on either. But if you can embody these kind of qualities that they're looking for, you will certainly get noticed. I don't think any company is ever looking for the complete ideal candidate. I don't think the ideal candidate exists for anyone. Certainly, no two job descriptions are ever the same. And what a client says they want and what they actually take on can be two different things. If you can embody everything that they are as a business, then you will certainly get noticed. I hope that helps. Pablo, hello. Would you be okay to share some examples of great portfolios? Oh, I can't, can I? I would love to. So if you actually go onto our portfolio masterclass, oh, my finger was very big there. We have a portfolio masterclass to elevate everyone, to make them feel empowered, invigorated, and excited about their work and what they've done and how to present it, how to tell the story. There are portfolio templates in there, but let me be honest with you, I don't like them per se. I do think, as you're all in the design industry, I really think you should embrace the skills that you have, the skills that you've been gifted. It boggles my mind sometimes that you don't embrace it more. Again, I would love you to just get some pieces of paper, start scribbling out whatever you need to do, like wherever you need to be, wherever you need to go. Can you please just embrace who you are, what you've done? It is what I just said to Mohammed as well. You're going to have to start thinking about your own personal brand. You put yourself in the future, 10 years from now. What does that version, Pablo, of you look like? How does he feel? How does he walk, talk, act, think? Who's around him? What environment is he in? What projects are you working on? These, once you start to put pen to paper and start literally listing these things out, you are such creative people that you will have inspiration coming to you left, right, and center. I think once you dedicate time to yourself and start to think about what you really, really want, you just get information from everywhere and it starts to inspire you. It starts to lift you up and make you feel like you have a plethora of options. So I would love to share great examples, but unless there are great examples online, if you want to put a URL in the comments, I am more than happy to give you immediate feedback, but maybe we can do that next week. I don't know. Right. So, Bruna, what elements or presentation styles demonstrate mastery of Rivet? Wow. Okay. Can you provide an example? No, I can't. This is really difficult. I think, right. Okay. The pair of you, Pablo, Bruna, could you give me some examples, URL links for next week? I'm conscious that time is kind of running out and I need to get through these questions. There are actually a lot. Thank you so much, guys. This is awesome. Right. I'm just trying to find the next question. There's quite a lot here. Oh, question. Here we go. Jojo. I've seen your name before. Welcome. Thank you so much for your question. Over the past 4 years, I've done a bit of everything, starting with concepts to drawings and 3D visualization, and moving heavily into project coordination for the last 2 years, where I learned how different things are digitally and when things, sorry, I can it only fits in so much. It's really annoying. and when things hit the site, what is the best way to move from this mixed execution coordination background into a dedicated client side management role? Right. Ooh, that is a big question. Right. Okay. So you've done a mix of everything. What would you like for your future? This kind of falls into, again, this madness that I had a coaching session yesterday, and quite a lot of these questions are exactly the same as what we were talking about yesterday. So you've done a bit of everything. Right. You need to make a decision, about where you want to go in your career. I'm assuming that you've made that decision, that is client side management. Now, I don't know your background right this second. I can't think of it off the top of my head. I've definitely seen your name before, but I can't think where you are in terms of your career. But what you need to do without question is literally write down. We're back to this again, aren't we? Write down what your role is on a day-to-day basis. What drawings do you produce? Who do you manage? Who do you coordinate with? And you need to give that whole story of what you are doing on a day-to-day basis and on a project in a more linear, methodical fashion. We all know that an architectural project is never, ever linear, ever. But what hiring managers need to understand is your understanding of A, B, C, D, E, F, and how you go about that storyline, how you go about, sorry, I'm going to have to take this watch off. I can mute. There we go. Right. So what you need to do is tell that story in your own words, in your own view, from your own perspective. Who are you coordinating with? What problems have you solved? What's been the biggest problem? And how did you go about the resolution side of it? So any business and any architectural, any project verbatim will have issues. And what businesses will love to know is, right, what was the issue? A. What were the complexities? B. And how did you follow through, resolve it, get it done in a timely fashion? What was the timescale? There's so many angles that you can actually play with on this. But what I would suggest when it comes to your portfolio, seeing as you've mentioned 3D visualizations, frustration from my perspective is portfolios are just a mishmash of renders with no storyline, no understanding what that individual's involvement was on those visualizations. Is this theirs? Is this somebody else's? What did they do? So you're creating the most amazing experience when somebody opens up your portfolio. Oh, okay, so Jojo worked on this project and she was pre-concept, concept, schematic, detailing, site. It tells a story, it's honest. And then when it comes to the interview stage, the hiring manager is already in complete awareness about what your skill set is. Alexa, stop. You're just about to hear my motivation speak that goes off. But the client is going to hear or read exactly what you do on a day-to-day basis. And that confidence in you, in your portfolio, is going to translate to them. Right, I'm going to have to move this along. I've just been told. Right. Oh, right, okay. LinkedIn user. I think actually this is the last question, and that I do have a lot more to say, but maybe we'll leave this for next week. Question, LinkedIn user. For architects and BIM professionals with strong technical delivery experience but limited built signature projects, how would you recommend positioning their portfolio to attract international firms in the UAE, UK, or Australia? Whoa, okay. Right, so that's a lot there. We're not looking for signature projects in every portfolio. Let me just make that clear. It's not, you don't have to be the biggest, brightest, boldest person ever. But, well, maybe you do need to be the biggest, boldest, brightest person ever. I'm joking. You need to articulate clearly in a cohesive manner what you work on. So, I think I said this earlier, but literally, piece of paper, what you're working on. I'm assuming it's more to do with workflow. So for BIM professionals, it's, and yeah, I guess, I don't know what level of BIM you're talking about. Are you talking about you're using Rivet, or are you a BIM manager? Either way, the clients need to understand your technical capabilities regardless. So they are going to want to know, and by the way, this, if we're talking about management level, director level, whatever, companies that are looking to interview an individual still want to understand what you have done in the past. They still want to understand this brain. You're working in a design industry. Design process means everything. They need to like get into how you think, how you approach your work, because that is a common factor that they look for in a portfolio. Does that make sense? I'm hoping that's, you're picking up what I'm putting down here. So it's not about you being on signature projects. Like I said earlier, I've placed candidates from completely unknown companies in, I can't even remember where she was now, but we moved her to an incredible firm in the Middle East because her love for the industry and her passion was all over her portfolio. She had an awareness of personal brand, font. I don't know if any of you have ever looked into the meaning behind fonts and colors. I have. And it's vast. A color can say 1,000 words, and it's subconscious. And I'm hoping that you understand this. Like, you should understand this, in fairness, because, you know, for the interior designers that are on this live and through the recordings, all of you, it's not just interior designers, it evokes, a color evokes a feeling. A feeling is what we're trying to utilize. You help people or evoke the emotion, a plethora of emotions on a daily basis. Like, even the building I'm in now is beautiful. Look at this fireplace. Like, it evokes an emotion. Emotion is what you gift to other people, but you seem to be in a general space, from a general viewpoint, devoid of emotion in your portfolio. Once you start building a CV and portfolio that is full of you and where you want to go, the passion you have, as soon as a user or a reader opens up your document, boom, it hits you straight in the face, and that is what people take action on. Mark my words. I've done this for 27 years, and that is what people take action on. Right, okay. Thank you so much, LinkedIn user. I'm so sorry, I don't know who you are. Right, okay, Pablo, right. Sugar. I can't actually click that. Okay, I think I'm going to, I'll hide that, but Pablo, I will come back to you in the feed, I promise. No, you're good for the disruption. I just can't click on the actual link, unfortunately. I'm going to have to come out the LinkedIn Live before I click on links. So there's two other areas that I wanted to talk about very quickly, and I will go into these areas next week, I guess. But friction is one area. The next area, I think I've covered the questions for now, but friction, you need to start reducing friction. Think about I mean, applying for jobs is very time consuming. Going through applications is time consuming. I can't tell you, and I'm sure there's people on this live or watching this that will not. I can't copy and paste it, Pablo. I'm so sorry. It won't let me. I've tried. I will come back to you though, I promise. So friction is something that okay, so hang on, wind back. So people will send links for their portfolio. And what I mean about friction is that I will click on a link, try to go into it, and then I have to request that I see the portfolio. That creates friction. In a portfolio terms as well, if your CV says one message, if you're applying to a job as a design architect, for example, and you'll see these kind of roles on our website, we're looking for people with pre-concept. So the sketching experience, the freehand sketching, let's put it in that context. That's easier to kind of get across. We're looking for that. And then we look at our portfolio, and the portfolio only contains construction detail drawings. That's friction. And when you're going through 800, 900 applications, those people are never going to hear back. Those people are going to get ghosted because they've created friction. It's unnecessary. They haven't put across who they are as an architect, interior designer, landscape architect, master planner. It's right across the industry. Take note of the expertise that people are actually requiring. It's not always obvious with the job title. I know for one, I've changed job titles to try and get people to understand that I'm looking for a concept design architect, for example. The client doesn't tell me that that's the job title that they're going to use, but I'm having to do that to try and get the message across because I know that people aren't going to read the job description. It's frustrating. But your portfolio needs to contain the exact work that the hiring manager is looking for. It's relevancy again. So, and then there's one last part to this. If we have actual other questions, I will answer some more. But the last part to this is, that holds nigh on 90% of people back, the lack of action. I love this industry. This is why I'm on a LinkedIn Live for over an hour, and I could talk for another 5 hours. We will do this next week, and we will talk about other things, and we'll keep hammering this home. But action, the lack of action, is stopping you from finding the job that you want to work on, the job that you are dreaming about, the projects that you are dreaming about. Like I've said in this live, you have so much opportunity. And sending the same portfolio out, thinking that the next company is going to see something different, is holding you back. If you can start writing out exactly what you do on a daily basis and do it verbatim, like what meetings are you in? I want you to go into minute detail here. Minute. and start thinking about what drawings you can put into your portfolio that actually articulates the length and breadth of your experience. If you are applying to jobs, you are not presenting the front end concept side, or you're only presenting a small proportion of the day-to-day job you do, you are missing out on a massive window of opportunity with all the jobs that you're more than capable of doing, but you haven't articulated in your portfolio. It's the most frustrating thing for me. And also, when it comes to interviews, there's candidates that talk themselves out of it. They could be on like second, third interview, and the clients start talking. The clients will catch you out, by the way. They want to know that you are relevant for the role. You and your kind of expertise, what you want to do in the future, is relevant to what they are looking for now, but also that you're aligned. So if you are looking, so actually, hypothetically speaking, if you are going for an interview at a company for a design architect, so they're looking for a concept design architect, and you turn up, your portfolio is all front end, there's loads of freehand sketches, blah, 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 blah. And then you sit there in the interview and go, I know what I love, project management. You've just talked yourself out of a job. And again, this is about really understanding what you want in your future. Do you want to be working on front end? Do you want to be working on site? Do you want to be working on the length and breadth of a project? So from beginning to end, project architect kind of type. If you don't articulate that right from the beginning, if you don't understand what you want, your career is going to go off on all sorts of tangents. And one day you're going to sit there and go, oh, this is knackering. I'm bored. I don't like what I do. I don't want to be doing this. Help. And that's when you're coming to me going, Hayley, what the hell happened? Sit down and understand what you want from your career. I know you types. My dad was an architect himself. And he got all, this is where I get my energy and enthusiasm from. He could sell anything. Ice to the Eskimos if there was a, architectural kind of vision for the ice. And he got so windswept away that he didn't stop to recognize what he actually wanted to do. And I can say this for a lot of people in the architectural industry. So action. What I need from you guys is to actually sit down, get your book out, start scribbling away, start getting creative with yourself and understand exactly what you want. But then you have to take action on your portfolio immediately. Stop looping, as some of you do. Should I do this? Should I do that? Start detailing it out. Think about your vision for your future. What do you want that to look like? What do you want it to feel like? How do you want people to experience your projects, your work? There's so many avenues that you can go down here. But this has run on for an hour and 15 minutes. I am going to have to love you and leave you because I am running out of time, and I will come back to you, Pablo. I'm just scrolling through. Is there anyone else? Cue you. If you've got any questions after this live, please just keep going in the chat, because I promise you I'll come back to you. I want as many people as possible to understand how they can breathe life into their portfolio, come across as unique as they are, because that's what makes you stand out. For me as a recruiter, for me as someone who loves the architectural and design industry so much. I want nothing more than you guys to actually embrace the industry, embrace the opportunity that you have, because you have more opportunities than you even comprehend, because you are designers. This is like the era of designers. So you can steer your career in any which way you choose. But look, this has been an absolutely awesome introduction back into the LinkedIn Lives. I'm going to be doing these on a weekly basis. Please come back to me with your feedback, anything that you would like to discuss. And happy Friday, Linkies. This has been awesome. Lots of love. I can't wait to go through all of your comments, hear your feedback, work with you. If you want to work with me, go to arecruitment.ae. And yeah, let's have an amazing weekend. And I can't wait to see you next week. Take care, team. Love you lots.